What's happening, everybody? Shawn Daniel here with Guitar Control. Today we're learning a new classic, Señorita by Shawn Mendes with special guest Camila Cabello, I believe is how her name is pronounced. Really cool song, super easy. It can introduce you to maybe like a new type of rhythm pattern. And we're just going to do kind of easy version of it. Make sure you click the link below because it's going to have the chords. And basically the whole song is going to sound like this. So, this sounds like 90% the way that they actually do it, but we're doing it with really easy open chords. We're going to talk about ways that you can get it to more sound exactly like the real version. But let's just run through the chords real quick. It's going to be A minor, open A, 2, middle finger 2 on the D string, ring finger 2 on the G string, pointer finger 1 on B string. We're going to go from there to a C major 7. So, you don't even need that pointer finger. Now, if you saw me play it the first time, I actually play it like this with my ring finger on the low E string, my pinky A string, same fret, 3rd fret, and then my middle finger, 2nd fret on the D string, leaving that B open, which kind of gives it a little bit more character, right? After that, the reason I'm doing this is twofold. The easiest way to think of this is just move this down a shape, and then put your pointer finger there. And now it's an F major chord. So this is a much easier way to play an F major chord than maybe like an F bar chord that you'll see. Again, we'll talk about the bar chord too, but I just wanted this easy F major chord where it's ring finger 3rd fret on the A string, pinky 3rd fret on the D string, middle finger 2nd fret on the G string, pointer finger 1st fret on the B string. We're gonna run that into an E minor. Everything's open except for your middle finger 2 on the A string, ring finger 2 on the D string, and then we're gonna run that into a G major chord. Now, middle finger 3rd fret on the E string, pointer finger 2nd fret on the A string, and the way I'm playing this is my ring finger is going to be the 3rd fret on the B string. Okay? So, again, we've got A minor, C major 7, F major 7, if you want to look at it that way, E minor, and G. Okay? So, now all we have to do to make it sound more like the song is to add a rhythm to it, all right? The rhythm is going to be this. Okay, so it's a Latin rhythm. This is going to be a very basic way to do it that we can expand upon if this is a style that you're interested in. But the way I'm playing it is my thumb is hitting the root note of the chord, which is an A, and an A minor chord, right? And then my fingers here are grabbing the next strings. Okay, so when I say that, my pointer finger's got the D string, my middle finger's got the G string, and my picking hand, right hand has the B string, ring finger. So it's going to be thumb and the chord. When I say the chord, it's just the 3 fingers in unison. You could easily do this with a pick, just by getting the root note, getting like that. So the way it would sound with a pick. Then you could add some embellishments. Which we'll get to in a second, but I want to go through that rhythm, the easy rhythm, finger style. Again, everything just works with the pick, but we're going to do a finger style throughout all 5 chords. All right, so we have a root, chord, root, root, chord. That's going to be the way that we're going to perceive the rhythm throughout the entire song. Thumb, fingers, thumb, thumb, fingers. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. I'm also adding a percussive hit, which you can do if you want. You don't have to, but it kind of gets a little bit more of the rhythm into it. Again, without that hit, when all I'm doing is I'm taking my picking hand and just kind of getting my nails on the string just to come straight down to get a percussive hit, right? So without it, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and or. I think it adds a little bit, right? Again, you can start out without it and then add it later if you want to, but I think getting some kind of percussiveness going with your picking hand is something that you're going to want to look into. All right. So we have the A minor, root, chord, root, chord, hit, root, chord, hit to C. Now remember, leave that pointer finger off. Everything is the exact same. Strings are the same. Rhythm is the same. I just changed the shape going on with my fretting hand. After that, we're just going to move that down a string. Put your pointer finger back on there. Same rhythm, same strings. E minor to G. So when we go to the E minor to G part, you'll notice that we actually, each chord gets half the amount of time. Whenever we were counting through the first A minor, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we kind of have a two-part thing there to the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Same amount of time in the F. And again on the F. The last two chords split. E, then to G, then back to A. That's all you have to do this song. You can do the whole song just like this. Trust me, I have. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is when you get to that E minor to G part, the thumb in your picking hand, if it's your right hand, or if you're left, your left hand, we're going to go down to the low E string, but your fingers are going to stay in the same spot. So now I'm getting that E string. Fingers don't move. And then for the G chord, same thing, the low E string. Back to A. Okay, so really, your picking hand shouldn't be changing much at all. It's only when you get to those last two chords does your root note end up happening on the low E string, okay? Which is kind of an important part in this style because eventually you can alternate between the root note and then maybe like the fifth of the chord. What that means is if we do the A minor, right? We were doing it like this. A chord, A chord, hit. A chord, A chord, hit. We can alternate between the open A and the open E string. Okay, now it just works out that in fingerstyle guitar, alternating between the root of a chord and the fifth of a chord is a very common thing to do. The fifth, all that means if you go through the alphabet, we have A, B, C, D, E. E is 5 notes away in the A scale. So you can alternate between the E and the A. That's why it's great with these open chords because you don't really have to think about it, you just move a string. Okay, that's why one of the reasons the guitar is set up this way. A chord, A chord, A chord, A chord. Or if we alternate, A chord, E chord, root, fifth. So there's a difference. You get a little bit more movement if you go back and forth like that. You can even go a fifth above. All I did there is I moved my pointer, middle, and ring finger a string higher. So now they've got the G, B, and E string. And now your thumb can actually move between the E, A, and D string. Doing this gets a different sound because you're getting a higher note on top instead of... So now I have A. So that's a little more complicated, but it really sounds good. Alternating between a root note, its fifth, and a root note and its fifth below. Also a really great way, if you're just starting out doing some kind of fingerstyle stuff, to jumping around and navigating the space between the strings and getting a feel for your thumb moving through the string set without having to look at it the whole time, right? So you can do that on any chord. On the C, again, let's make that C major 7. Again, the big full one with your ring finger on the low E string 3rd fret. Do the exact same thing. Now, the one thing you'll notice that I'm accentuating more there, and I almost kind of naturally do it every time I play the song, is we have that root, chord, root, chord hit. On the and of the last note, I'm actually getting the chord again a little bit softer than root, chord, root, chord, hit, chord, root, chord, hit, chord. There's a little bit of a flavor that kind of adds, having another instance of the chord near the end of the bar, or the end of the pattern, all right? So for this, you can do the exact same thing, where you're getting the A, D, A string, E. When I say A-D, I mean the string, not the actual note. It's really a C to an E to a C to a G. But I think it's easier to keep along if I just call out the name of the string because the shape is already kind of firmly planted on there. We can do the same thing with the F chord. That is going back between the A and D string. Or, if you're a true warrior, you can get that bar chord going to G. So, again, the whole thing, doing it in a couple different ways. A minor to a C major 7 to an F to an E minor to a G. So now let's talk real quick about just different ways that you can do to accentuate the melody into the chord, alright? Now, the great thing about knowing what notes go in a certain key or scale, this is all in the key of A minor or C major, depending on how you look at it. Basically, all the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B. There's no sharps or flats in the song. Right there, that's kind of like a big part of the melody, just getting hammer-ons on the first fret of the B string, open, and the second fret of the G string. Right there. It's just the B string, on and off, 2G, B, C, there, so. In whatever order. So, it's kind of a way that you can start incorporating some of these lead things into chords while still really just keeping a very easy progression that goes in a lot of different places. Very cool song, even for a pop song, that I definitely recommend everybody learn because it introduces you to some cool new Latin vibes, rhythms, but it's also really easy chords that you probably already know that you can use in a different context, get your finger picking game up to par, and then start adding melody notes on top of everything. So hopefully you learned a little bit of something. Tell me what you thought of the lesson in the comments below, and make sure to click on other videos on the Guitar Control channel by myself, other guitar and control instructors. That's what's great about this channel is we have a bunch of different perspectives from a bunch of different teachers. So let us know if you have any requests, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.